Hello, this is Bob Morate, the guy who speaks funny at GoPlayThat.com, and today I want to talk a little about Stories, the Path of Destinies, which came out recently for PC and PlayStation 4. Stories is an action RPG that covers the story of the wanderer fox Bernardo, and how his fate is intertwined with a rebellion happening against the Frog Emperor. By the whims of fate, he gets a hold of a very important book for the rebellion that he must protect at all costs. Let's talk about the game itself. The first thing you will observe the moment you start playing is how colorful and bright it is. The vibrant colors and the hard shade lighting was impressive the moment I came to see it, and I immediately fell in love with the style. The only other game that I can think of right now that has caused the same kind of effect on me would be The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, which also made my mouth water for the whole experience. Look at this! Look at these shadows! Of course, this depends on the setting of the levels themselves. Certain levels are supposed to be more mysterious or dark, and the game matches the visual style flawlessly, or nearly flawlessly. The story is all told by a single voice actor who does an incredible job interpreting the narrator and every single character, reading it as if it was a children's book. I really tried to track down the name of this person for a while, but alas, I came out empty-handed. So if you did this and you happen to be watching this video, know that you've won my heart with your voice talent. And also for the people watching, if you manage to know who this person is, please tweet us over at GoPlayThat or myself at Bob Morate. I would really like to know.
So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lupino. And he outlined a...
Anyway, think of a game like Bastion, but matching the witty and casual style that the game conveys at all times. Speaking of which, I always appreciate humor in video games, and Stories delivers in that aspect. It's not the kind of game that will make you laugh out loud, but all the bits and funnies are presented, and the timing where they are presented have kept me smiling for most of my playthrough.
This, he could probably make a really nice pair of barbecue tongs. Or even a sword.
The combat reminds me of a simplified version of the kind of combat you would encounter in the Rocksteady Batman Arkham games, which is really satisfying by itself. When you defeat enemies, you are rewarded with experience points, which will help you level up and learn new skills on the skill tree presented for your progression. I'm not gonna go in depth on this feature, just know that between the skill tree and the sword crafting system, you have a certain degree of customization of your playstyle. Having covered the basic gameplay loop for the short-ish levels, I will talk about where the game really shines. Unsurprisingly, the game really shines exactly where the title points out, which are the stories, and it is intended that it's in plural. The game behaves like a big choose-your-own-adventure book, which depending on the choices that you make between levels and even within the levels, the story will take one way or another. Stories are generally short though. For reference, the footage that I captured to make this video is a full playthrough beginning to end, and it got me about a couple of hours of gameplay. However, the game has 24 different stories, so the replayability value is really high, and I really look forward to uncover all of the stories. For what I figured out of my playthrough, it seems that you don't really need to unlock them all to finish the game. Some of the stories will unlock what are called truths about something that apparently will enable you to understand everything and then come to a full cycle. The moment you finish the story, you will begin anew, keeping all of your upgrades and items obtained, so you can choose an entirely different route. I think this is the only pet peeve that I have with the game. The variety of enemies that you will encounter seems to depend on your progression level, instead of your progression in the story. This does make a lot of sense from a design point of view, but when you are playing the game for the first time and you're making the final push to the epic conclusion of your story, the fact that you're still encountering the first enemy over and over kinda throws you off narratively. However, given that the playthroughs are so short and the story so condensed, I cannot really think of a better alternative. It may slightly bother me, but I personally think that the developers made the right choice here. Playing stories is super gratifying, at some points even obsessive, so if you want my recommendation, I strongly recommend you go play that. But if you do, I strongly recommend as well that you set aside a couple of hours so you can experience a full story beginning to end. Although the game is fantastic the way it is, regardless of the session length, I noticed that this is the way that the game is most enjoyable. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more about what we do, go check our website GoPlayThat.com, where me and 5 other guys talk about the games we really love. And if you have something to say, why not get in touch? Send us an email at GoPlayThat.com, or send us a tweet at GoPlayThat. See you next time.
But he had guts. Where was Bernardo going to get a hero sword?